Welcome back, adventurers, once again to Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. In the previous episode, the remnants of the Raccoon Police Department fought a valiant ground war against the citizens turned flesh-eating zombies due to the biological weapon that is the T-virus spreading mercilessly throughout the streets of Raccoon City. But not even the Raccoon City SWAT would be able to contend with the hordes of flesh eaters. And as a consequence, the surviving police forces out in the streets have been completely decimated. As for Star's survivor Jill Valentine, she's managed to make it into a warehouse with one other survivor, a man by the name of Dario Russo, who has locked himself in a storage container, leaving Jill to fend for herself. But when was that ever new? And so we must press on, and really look at those barrels, but can examine this warehouse, and it does, fortunately for us, and fortunately for Dario, it appears that this place is relatively free of zombies for the moment. Have our usual things, a forklift for moving various types of cargo. Yeah, this appears to be a shipping warehouse of some kind, and some pallets over here. Not everything can be examined in greater detail, but it's ominously quiet. Not a zombie to be heard. Of course, we get a glimpse of the upper level, but before we do that, there's another forklift over here. I definitely needed a few of these, and appears to be something in this corner here, which is going to be very useful for us. The first aid spray, first of many. And of course, first aid sprays in Biohazard are exceptionally invaluable. Use them only if you must, in the worst case scenario. There are a lot of packaged boxes over here, and see if there's anything behind these chain doors. Defective products have been placed there, so this is where their scrapped produce goes. Fair enough. Appears to be a some sort of container here with a green light on it. I suppose that means there's something inside. And of course, it's our good old friend handgun bullets. 9mm parabellum rounds. We got 30 out of that. That was 30 handgun bullets is always a good haul. Used for either the M92FS Custom or the SIG Pro. Now, I'm not really sure of where Jill is going to get one of those. Maybe she might find it lying around in somewhere out there in Raccoon City. And there's nothing left, and the light is downstairs. Oh, the light is red, sorry. Of course the light is downstairs, we're on the first floor. See if there's anything in these boxes. No, there is not. Of course, we can head on up to this platform here and gaze solemnly out the same window that Jill was looking out at the end of the previous episode. It's eerily silent outside of the window. Too silent for my liking. Because sound is the only way in which we're actually going to be able to deal with this, well, know when the zombies are around. There's the backdoor exit, conveniently signed. Unfortunately, it's locked. I wonder if Jill actually managed to, if Jill was the one who actually locked it. It would have been good if she did. Now, before we head upstairs, there is actually something else that I didn't have a look at down here, which is this giant shutter down here. It looks like a wall. It's not a wall. It's a giant shutter, but Jill can't examine it, which is never mind. It's a good thing that shutter is down. Now, heading back to where we were planning on going upstairs. We're going to have to find the key to that backdoor entrance, which is hopefully located in this warehouse, because it would suck if it wasn't. I'm really not liking the notion of braving the streets of Raccoon City, but we have no choice in the matter if we want to get out alive. Now on the upper balcony here, and there appears to be a room, we saw a glimpse of it downstairs, but Jill doesn't really have anything to say about it at all. Doesn't appear that there's a zombie lurking inside, hiding away, but you never can be too careful with zombies. In any event, let's go inside. And lo and behold, that music signifies that we're in what is ostensibly known as a safe room or a save room in the world of survival horror. This music is very different from the save themes of Biohazard and Biohazard 2. The save theme in Biohazard was calm and quaint. A nice little safe haven from the grisly horrors of the mansion. And the save themes in Biohazard 2 kind of felt ominous, but nonetheless reminded you that you were indeed in a very safe haven. The save theme in Biohazard 3, however, has an even more ominous tone to it. It hints at the fact that yes, while we might be in a safe refuge, staying in here won't help us survive, and sooner or later we are going to have to leave it. Now there is a object on here, and lo and behold, it's the key that we need to actually leave the warehouse. And it's a normal key as well. It's not a themed key like the mansion or the precinct keys. It's a regular key. A small key with a tag attached to it. It says back door on the tag. So now we can get out of the warehouse, but before we do that, I'm going to have a look around. Various reports are sorted here. Doesn't look like Jill's found anything of interest. This appears to be some sort of management office. A delivery voucher book. Ah, so they do deliveries here, which is very handy. Appears to be something on the wall here. Get a closer look for it. An area map for the delivery service. Now, this would actually be a good place to have a map for Raccoon City at this point, since a delivery map would actually be very helpful. Unfortunately, this is not a map. I wish it was, but it isn't. It's not a usable one anyway. Boo. Now, there are some odd colored items in the storage container over here, which believe it or not, contain gunpowder, which is going to be exceptionally useful. Let's grab both of them. Because why not? And believe it or not, we can either turn them into ammo by using them with the reloading tool, but we can also combine them together as well. And these can actually create different, I believe mixing them together like this will create more ammo, and mixing them with other types of gunpowder might give more ammo of or more quantities of more powerful ammo, which is what I was trying to say there. We got 35 out of that. I won't say no to 35 handgun bullets. Now, of course, all importantly, there is the typewriter here, and as well as the ink ribbon, of which we actually get 3 instead of 2, which is a bit of a theme going there. And of course, as with Biohazard and Biohazard 2, we can save our progress by using these old typewriters, but only if we have ink ribbons. Now, against my better judgment, I am not going to do that. I am going to store the ink ribbons away in the item box. And believe it or not, the only thing we get in the item box on hard mode is a knife. We get a variety of other weapons in easy mode, but I'm not doing easy mode. Now, I'm going to put these ink ribbons away and swap out for the knife. Although I'm not going to be using the knife on real survival mode. I'm not that hard up. I'm not giving myself that much of a handicap. A dagger knife for self-defense. It's quite a bit different from the combat knife, but if the combat knife was considerably useless, then the dagger knife is less than useless. Although Jill actually holds the dagger knife rather differently than the combat knife. I don't think that she held it this way in like this, or maybe she did hold it that way in the original Biohazard, I wonder. But the dagger knife is, as I said, less than useless. So there we go. Now, I'm also going to put away the first aid spray as well. Again, against my better judgment. Now this is where real survival is ultimately going to kick me in the teeth here. Because, lo and behold, this is the first instance of where we found a save room in Biohazard 3. And it is going to be quite a while before we find another save room. To add insult to injury, this isn't going to be like Biohazard and Biohazard 2, because we're not confined to a single building anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to go from one set of corridors to the other with 2 sets of item boxes, one at the west and east ends of a particular building. That's not a thing this time. When we're dealing with the streets of Raccoon City, we have to go through alleyways, roads, and everything. So the paradigm has shifted, and Jill unfortunately has can only carry up to 8 items at any given time. Which means that for me to actually successfully do this on real survival, I'm pretty much going to have the reloading tool on Jill at all times, and I do mean at all times, unless we get to a part of the city where it might be beneficial for me to finally conveniently put away the reloading tool. But since the item boxes in Raccoon City aren't technically going to be linked, there will be few exceptions, possibly if it's anything like Biohazard 2, which I already know for a fact that it is. But for the most part, I will try to do this as much as I can on Real Survival, which is going to increase the difficulty immensely. And I think I need to re-equip the trusty Beretta, because that would actually be a bad thing if I didn't use it. Now, I don't think that there is actually anything else in this storage office space that will be incredibly useful, which is very unfortunate. But that was our little safe haven, and well, it's time to say fare thee well to this safe haven, because we will not be coming back here for quite a while. We have to move forward. And lo and behold, I think I can hear the faint sounds of Raccoon City finally seeping their way into the warehouse. Rather ominously. Oh my word. Did I mention how much I've been dreading this, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my word. We may have 80 handgun bullets on our hands, but the problem is that we don't want to have to fight every single zombie we come across, because we're going to be using up those 80 handgun bullets a lot. Yeah, if we don't find better weapons soon, or eventually, we are basically going to be screwed right from the word get-go. And just to show you that that area map did not update the Uptown map, we're going to have to find an Uptown map somewhere in the streets of Raccoon City. Oh, happy days. I am really not looking forward to this, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, that's it for this episode of Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. And when we return, dear adventurers, Jill Valentine and myself will finally face our worst fears by stepping out into the streets of Raccoon City. As always, until next we meet.